Hello again, it's Mr. DeBetz, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to start a new composition on Adobe After Effects. One thing I do recommend before going into the composition is to sort of learn the keyboard shortcuts, because there's a lot of ways to access things. And able to do that, you can just go up here at the top, click Help, and then you're going to look for the keyboard shortcuts. If you click on that, it'll take you to the website. It'll have all the shortcuts for Adobe After Effects. Alright, so the first thing I want to go through is how to start and open a new composition. In order to do that, you can either click here where it says New Composition, or go to Composition here in the menu bar and click New Composition. Once this opens, you're going to have a lot of different features that you can customize. First thing you want to do is your composition name. So in this case, I'll just put After Effects 1. And then under that you're going to be able to set the frames per second and the pixels in your video. This really depends on what camera you've used. Most of the time I would recommend just staying in 1920 by 1080, which is about 30 frames per second. If you use one of the 4K cameras, you're going to want to go to one of these 4K options as well. Here you can also set the width and the height of your canvas. So for example, if you wanted to make a square graphic that you could upload to social media, you would customize this to 1000 by 1000. But again, in this case, I'm just going to leave it at the default. Then down here, something that's different than Premiere Pro is you actually set the duration of the clip that you're going to be working on. Whereas in Premiere Pro, the timeline is sort of infinite. Here, you actually have to set your time. In this case, I'm just going to put 5 seconds. Then here at the very bottom is you can choose your background color for the composition. The color that you choose is sort of your preference, and it won't be the actual background color of your video or your animation. So I would either recommend going with a black or a white background. I'm just going to stick with black here. So I'm going to hit OK. Once that's all done, you hit OK, and then you're going to see that it creates the image from that menu. Something else you're going to notice here is at the bottom you have your timeline, so it actually activates your timeline as well. Really quick, I want to just show you some different features with the timeline. So right now, as you can see, I set it to 5 seconds, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. If I wanted to zoom into the timeline, you can go to this bottom button here, you click, you drag it. So now it's going to start breaking it down by frames per second. So this is very helpful when you want to get really nitty-gritty and specific with your editing. Another way to do this is you can also adjust it up here at the very top if you were to drag the time here. Alright, some other features I'm going to show you is here in the menu bar for the composition window. This is just sort of your magnification of the composition. So if I hit fit, it's going to increase it. I could also go to 100% if I wanted it a little larger. Usually I'd like to work around 50 to 75%. One more thing that I'm going to point out is this button here that says full. This is for your resolution. So once you start to add layers to your timeline and the video starts to have different features, it might slow down depending on what computer you're using. So all this really does is it decreases the resolution of the video, and it's going to sort of help your Adobe After Effects run a little smoother. So again, right now it's at full. If I went to half, it would be about half. The video quality would not be the best, but again, it would be able to run and to sort of process. One more thing I want to point out here is something called your transparency grid. If you click on this, it gets rid of the black background and it creates this checkerboard. Essentially, when you're working in Adobe After Effects, you're able to make video and text sort of disappear and reappear at different times. So all this really does is it allows you to sort of see those things that are hiding and not visible right at the moment. If any of these things you don't like, you can simply change the composition. So again, you go up here to your menu, go composition, composition settings. So if I wanted, I could change the background to white. I could change my width and height to 1000 each. And then you're going to sort of see the difference here. So again, the size and shape is size and color, excuse me, are different. Again, I can go to fit if I want to edit it. I can enter transparency mode. And then again, I can adjust the timeline so I can get really specific and more into my editing through those features. So again, that's just sort of how to start a new composition and what that will do to your timeline and to your composition here.